Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn's swashbuckling charm masked chaos, and his burial wish was pure extravagance. The Robin Hood star, whose scandals rocked Hollywood, wanted a 6-foot statue of a woman, his ode to beauty and hedonism, buried with him. Too wild to execute, it didn't happen, and Flynn got a plain marker at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, California. His late 1950s funeral was hushed, a shock for a man who lived so loud. That unfulfilled statue reveals a life of reckless allure. Why such a bold request? Was it ego or a cry for eternity? His modest grave, unlike his flamboyant days, stirs questions about the real Flynn. Whispers of his controversial lifestyle and legal troubles fuel intrigue. Did he crave redemption or just one last spotlight? His legacy, as charismatic as his grin, keeps us curious. What else didn't make his final act? Flynn's story, a whirlwind of charm and chaos, hooks us into chasing the truth behind a star who burned bright and crashed hard, leaving secrets we'll never fully uncover. Wallace Reid. Wallace Reid's matinee idol shine hid a tragic secret, and his burial wish hit like a gut punch. This silent film star, a 1920s heartthrob, shocked Hollywood by requesting a plain grave with one item, a silver locket holding his wife Dorothy Davenport's photo. It wasn't just sweet, it screamed guilt over a life derailed. A studio treatment for an injury spiraled into dependency, wrecking his family. Dorothy, his anchor, preserved his legacy after his early exit. Reid, once a symbol of charm, rejected grand tombs, choosing a modest plot to shed the larger-than-life image that nearly destroyed him. Why so humble? Was he hiding from fame or seeking forgiveness? That hidden locket tells of a man desperate for redemption. His grave, free of fanfare, contrasts the glitz he embodied, stirring curiosity about the real Reid. Whispers of his downfall and studio pressures fuel speculation. What drove him to such a quiet end? Did he blame himself or the system? Reid's story, a heartbreaking fall from grace, keeps us chasing the truth behind a star who loved and lost too much. Tallulah Bankhead. Tallulah Bankhead's wild streak was legendary, and her burial wish was pure chaos. This husky-voiced rebel, notorious for off-screen antics, demanded a grave stuffed with bourbon, cigarettes, and, shockingly, the Bible. It's a perfect clash of her defiance and hidden faith, a snapshot of a woman who lived unapologetically. Her 1960s funeral was grim, but those quirky items screamed her untamed spirit. The real twist? She chose St. Paul's Churchyard, Maryland, near her family's roots. A stunning move for someone who mocked tradition. Why go so grounded? Was it a nod to her past or a final curveball? Her grave, far from Hollywood's glare, blends sass and sentiment, leaving us curious about the real Tallulah. Whispers of her scandalous affairs and bold personality fuel speculation. Did she crave peace in the end? Or was this another act of rebellion? Her legacy, as magnetic as her voice, keeps us guessing. What drove this firecracker to mix reverence with irreverence? Tallulah's final act, a puzzle wrapped in charm, hooks us into chasing her untamed story. Mary Pickford. Mary Pickford's America's Sweetheart title masked inner battles, and her burial wish revealed her truth. This silent film titan who built Hollywood's foundation chose a quiet spot in Forest Lawn Memorial Park's Garden of Memory, California, beside her mother and siblings. It was a raw shift from fame to family, shocking for a star under relentless scrutiny. Her crypt's America's Sweetheart engraving feels bittersweet. She embraced and resented the label. Why so understated? Was it peace or rejection of her public cage? Her grave, free of glitz, hints at a woman wrestling with her image, Whispers of her struggles with fame's pressures fuel curiosity. Did she crave escape from her persona? What drove her to shun spectacle? Pickford's legacy, as powerful as her films, keeps us guessing. What else hid behind that iconic smile? Her final choice, rooted in love over stardom, hooks us into chasing her story. Her quiet plot, a stark contrast to her cinematic empire, begs us to dig deeper into the woman who shaped an industry while fighting its weight. Elizabeth Taylor. What's the wildest way to steal the show after death? Elizabeth Taylor, the violet-eyed queen of scandal, had the answer. Famous for 8 marriages and a life dripping in diamonds, she shocked everyone with a final request. Her casket had to arrive 15 minutes late to her funeral. No joke, this was Taylor's calculated move to cement her legacy as Hollywood's ultimate rebel. But that's not all. She demanded burial with diamond earrings so valuable they could buy a small country. Her grave at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, California, is unmarked, a jaw-dropping twist for a star who lived under constant cameras. Was she dodging tourists or guarding secrets from a life of relentless scrutiny? Whispers of her stormy romances and lavish spending fuel speculation. Taylor's choice feels like a final performance, blending glamour with mystery. Why hide her resting place? Did she fear her grave becoming a spectacle, or was it a last grab for privacy? Her legacy, as dazzling as those jewels, keeps us guessing. What other secrets did this icon bury? We're left chasing a star whose exit was as bold as her life, forever hooked on her enigmatic charm. Rudolph Valentino. Rudolph Valentino's death at 31 sparked chaos, but his grave birthed an enduring myth. The Latin lover, a silent film sex symbol, left no clear burial wish. Yet his friends secured a borrowed crypt at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, meant to be temporary. It's now a century-old shrine. Fans still flock, drawn by the Lady in Black, a mysterious figure who left a red rose yearly on his death's anniversary. That eerie tradition lives on, making his plot a hotspot of devotion. Why does his grave pull such loyalty? Was it his charm or a deeper secret? Valentino's burial didn't end his story. It launched a legend that grips us still. Whispers of his scandalous romances and sudden exit fuel intrigue. Did he hide a darker side? What drove his mythic status? His crypt, a magnet for fascination, keeps us chasing a star whose glow never fades. Valentino's life, cut short amid controversy, hooks us into seeking answers. His story, as dramatic as his films, begs us to unravel the truth behind the heartthrob who captivated the auge. Joan Crawford. Think Joan Crawford was all about glamour? Her final wish ripped that mask off. The melodrama queen, whose fiery roles hid a dark home life, chose a modest crypt at Ferncliff Cemetery, New York, far from Hollywood's sparkle. But the real bombshell, she cut her 2 eldest kids, Christina and Christopher, from her will with a brutal line, for reasons they know. Whispers of her harsh parenting, later exploded by Christina's scathing memoir, had long tainted her image. Her ashes rest beside her last husband, Alfred Steele, in a crypt so plain it's practically invisible, a stark contrast to her spotlight-chasing career. Why so understated? Was it guilt over family rifts? Or a final jab at the world? Crawford's quiet grave stirs questions about the woman behind the icon. Her life, tangled in controversy, leaves us hungry for answers. Did she regret her choices? Or was this her way of controlling the narrative? The mystery of her strained relationships and that eerie, anonymous crypt keeps us hooked. Crawford's legacy, as chilling as her screen presence, begs us to dig deeper into the truth she buried. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo's "I want to be alone" mantra wasn't just words. Her burial wish proved it. This elusive icon who shunned Hollywood's glare chose cremation and a modest grave in Sweden's Skogskirkegården Cemetery, a serene UNESCO site. She'd bought the plot in the 1950s, decades before her 1990s passing, a sly move to reclaim her roots. Her bare headstone, with just her name, screams privacy, a shock for a screen goddess. Why so plain? Was it escape from fame or a deeper secret? Garbo's quiet grave, far from Tinseltown's flash, hides a life cloaked in mystery. Whispers of her reclusive New York years fuel curiosity. What drove her to flee the spotlight? Her legacy, as haunting as her gaze, keeps us chasing answers she'll never share. Did she regret her stardom? Or was solitude her true desire? Her final act, understated yet powerful, hooks us into seeking the truth behind her enigma. Garbo's story, a puzzle wrapped in elegance, begs us to dig deeper into the star who vanished from the world's stage. Bela Lugosi's Dracula defined horror, but his final wish turned life into a nightmare. This icon, forever tied to the vampire role, stunned his inner circle by demanding burial in his full Dracula costume, cape and all. It wasn't a stunt. It was a haunting confession of a man consumed by his character. Lugosi, broke and battered by typecasting, passed in the mid-20th century. His funeral, a small, grim affair. That costume made his Holy Cross Cemetery grave in California a creepy fan shrine. Why embrace the role that cursed him? Was it surrender or a defiant embrace of his legacy? His grave feels like a horror film set, drawing devotees who ponder his tragic arc. Lugosi's life, marred by personal demons and faded fame, fuels curiosity. Did he resent Dracula, or was it his only salvation? His penniless end and that macabre burial choice reveal a star who paid a steep price for immortality. His legacy, as eerie as his gaze, keeps us wondering. What drove him to merge with the monster? We're left chasing a story as haunting as his films. W.C. Fields' razor-sharp wit hit a rebel's heart, and his burial wish was peak eccentricity. This comedian who loathed California famously quipped his epitaph should read, "I'd rather be in Philadelphia." But when he passed in the late 1940s, his Forest Lawn Memorial Park grave in California got a plain plaque, a twist for a man who lived boldly. He'd wanted Philly, but family logistics kept him west. A final irony for a star who mocked the state. Why didn't his joke make the cut? Was it practicality or a deeper conflict? His understated grave feels like a punchline, stirring curiosity about the real Fields. Whispers of his unconventional life and sharp humor fuel speculation. Did he resent Hollywood's grip? His legacy, as quirky as his one-liners, keeps us guessing. What other gags did he bury? Fields' story, a mix of contradiction and charm, hooks us into seeking the truth behind his gruff exterior. His grave, a quiet nod to a loud life, begs us to dig deeper into the comedian who turned every moment into a jest. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow's blonde bombshell glow hid heartbreak, and her burial wish bared her soul. Gone at 26 in the late 1930s, she stunned Hollywood by requesting a white gown, white flowers, and a marble crypt, pure like she longed to be seen. Scandals and pain had shadowed her, but this was her reclaiming innocence. Her lover, William Powell, poured his grief into funding her lavish crypt at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, California, dubbed the Taj Mahal of the West. Why such grandeur? Was it love or a plea for her legacy? Harlow's grave, a blend of beauty and mystery, hooks us on the star who defined glamour. Whispers of her tragic end and tumultuous relationships fuel speculation. What secrets did she bury? Did she fear being forgotten? Her early exit, cloaked in intrigue, keeps us chasing her story. Harlow's final act, as captivating as her screen presence, leaves us hungry for the truth behind the bombshell. Her crypt, a monument to a life cut short, begs us to unravel the pain she hid behind that iconic smile. Mae West. Mae West's sassy charm never faded, and her burial wish was a final wink at the world. This double entendre queen, who scoffed at norms, hand-picked a glamorous gown years before her late 1980s, passing for her family mausoleum in Brooklyn's Cypress Hills Cemetery. Her crypt's inscription, "Mae West, I'm no angel," nods to her iconic film and defiant spirit. A bold choice that stunned fans expecting Hollywood flair. Why return to her New York roots? Was it loyalty or a last jab at Tinseltown? West's grave, a stage for her wit, feels like a performance. Whispers of her boundary-pushing career and fearless attitude fuel intrigue. Did she plan this as her ultimate exit line? Her legacy, as bold as her quips, keeps us curious. What else did this trailblazer hide? Her final act, dripping in charm, hooks us into chasing her story. West's Mausoleum, a tribute to a life lived on her terms, begs us to unravel the woman who redefined stardom. Her story, as unforgettable as her strut, leaves us craving more of her unapologetic magic. Pola Negri. Pola Negri's life was a scandal-fueled storm, but her burial wish sparked a mystery that won't die. This silent film siren, once entwined in a steamy affair with Rudolph Valentino, floored everyone by demanding to be buried with a vial of his ashes. The catch? Valentino was never cremated, at least not officially. Was Negri spinning a tale, or did she hold a secret relic from their fiery romance? Her claim, dripping in controversy, cemented her eccentric legend. Her California grave, carved with ornate European flair, screams theatricality, a shrine to her dramatic soul. But those alleged ashes, they're the real puzzle. Was it a final act of devotion or a cunning performance? Negri's life, a blur of passion and reinvention, leaves us craving answers. Whispers of her Valentino obsession and penchant for drama fuel the intrigue. Why risk such a bold lie? Did she need the spotlight even in death? Her grave, a mix of glamour and enigma, keeps us hooked. Negri's story, as wild as her films, begs us to unravel the truth she buried. Clark Gable. Clark Gable's tough guy charm hit a shattered heart, and his burial wish laid it bare. Hollywood's king, forever linked to Gone with the Wind, chose a grave next to his third wife, Carole Lombard, at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, California. Lombard's tragic 1940s passing crushed him. Despite 2 later marriages, he never let her go. His simple plaque stunned fans expecting grandeur from a legend. Why so modest? It was a raw confession of grief that defined him. Gable's quiet plot, far from his larger-than-life roles, screams vulnerability, a side he rarely showed. Whispers of his private struggles and enduring love fuel curiosity. Was this about devotion or guilt for a life half lived without her? His grave's understated vibe leaves us hooked on the man behind the myth. Did he hide other heartbreaks? What drove him to shun fame's glitz? Gable's legacy, as poignant as his screen presence, keeps us chasing answers. His story, a love that outlasted fame, begs us to dig deeper into the pain he carried in silence. Theda Bara. Theda Bara's vamp allure captivated silent films, but her burial wish stunned her era. This enigmatic star, whose seductive roles defined a genre, requested cremation, and her ashes scattered in the Pacific Ocean, a bold choice when cremation was rare in the 1950s. Her family held her remains for years, only fulfilling her wish decades later, adding to the mystery. Most of her films burned in a 1930s studio fire, making her legacy as elusive as her grave. Why the ocean? Was it freedom from Hollywood's artifice or a deeper secret? Bara's life, cloaked in studio-crafted mystique, fuels curiosity. Did she resent her vamp image? Her ocean-bound end, far from Tinseltown's glare, hooks us into chasing her story. Whispers of her lost films and enigmatic persona keep us guessing. What drove her to vanish into the waves? Her legacy, as haunting as her gaze, begs us to unravel the truth behind the star, who faded too soon. Bara's final act, a return to the elements, leaves us craving more of a woman whose story burned brighter than her surviving reels. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our newest videos. Thanks for watching.